Okay, I'm going to now show you how to load a supplier invoice. Okay, so let's go back to Stockmaster first, just to get an idea. We're going to do the calculator item again. At the moment, you can see I've got, in fact, let's override that quickly. We're going to say we've got 10 of those. Okay, at the moment, we've got 10 in stock. I'm going to say save. So of the big calculators, or big button calculators, we've got 10. Okay, I'm going to now GRV an invoice for calculator. So I went to macro, I bought another 12. I'm going to now load the stock on our system. So the right way to do that would be by doing a supplier invoice. So I go to processing, load return stock. I then select the supplier macro. I put in the invoice number. Okay. I'm going to say I'm working excluding VAT, let's say is 670 Rand. Okay, so I'm buying another 10. Okay, continue. And now I can either, I touched something I shouldn't have touched, so I've got a touch screen here, that's why. Let's go back in there, macro, 120, 670, continue. Okay, so I'm now going to either scan or search for it. In this case, I'm just going to search for calculator. I'm going to select calculator big button. Okay, double click on it. So now I can either load this, or I can load any item either as a pack or as a unit. So in this case, I bought 10 units, so 10 calculators. It's now gone up from 57 Rand, it's gone up to 67 Rand. So what will happen is it will alert me. Obviously, there's been a cost increase, but it will also store. Let's say, for example, I as the owner, I'm not loading the invoice. One of my staff members are. I can always go in under my stock reports and print me a list of all items that have increased in cost. So by that way, you can adjust your retail price. So in this case, it's gone up 10 Rand. So I would obviously consider now changing my retail. Okay. You can also make or limit your person loading the invoice that they can't change the retail price. They can only load this cost. So there you would have to know, okay, what items have increased in stock. But anyway, let's say in this case, I've got permission to change my retail. So now we're going to make it 129. So the calculator's now gone up from 99 to 129. I then say save. Okay. So I basically load, you'll see now what's happened as well. I'll load all my items in. And what it's done here in the bottom right-hand corner, this is excluding 670. I've loaded 670 and the difference is 0. So ideally, if I've loaded all my items correctly and I've put in the correct invoice total, this will be 0, which it is currently. I've loaded 10. It was 670. 67 times 10 is 670. Difference is 0. If there is a difference, it won't allow you, it will allow you to end off the invoice. So you can override it. Let's say you've got a difference of 2 cents or something. I'm not worried with 2 cents. I can actually override it. It will warn me and say the invoice total that you've loaded and the items that you loaded don't match. Please check line items, and then you can see. So that just helps you tie up the items on the invoice with what you're loading in on the system. Okay, so in this case, everything is perfect. It's 0. I complete it. Okay, it confirms. I say yes. Okay, no, I don't want to print barcode labels, or I can. So it will print me 10 barcode labels. In this case, I'm just going to say no. Or packing slip. So packing slip is a slip that you will give your staff. There we go. Put those 10 on the shelf. Make sure that our new retail, if there's a shelf talker, or our pricing on our existing current stock, our existing 10 need to be increased, you can do that. Make them all 129. So they can just check. They're loading 10, the retail price is 129. Check that existing stock is also 129, then they can actually sign it off as well. So that's the purpose of a packing slip. And there you can see it's ready for the next macro invoice or the next invoice that I want to load. So if I quit here or close, if I go to my view, supply invoices loaded, there you'll see there's the invoice number 12 loaded on today. That's what I loaded with the costs, etc. I can right click on it. I can print it again. I can reprint the packing slip. I can reprint barcodes. I can delete the invoice, which will then take the 10 out of stock again. And let's say I want to send it back It's just a faulty batch. I'm going to send all 10 back. I can do that too. I can delete it, or I can just do a return as well. So if I go to my load return stock, I can just say return to supplier, and then we'll do exactly the same, just reverse the process. If I go to my stock master now, you'll see if I call up calculator, there you can see it's added the 10 to my existing 10. If I go to information tab, there you can see on the 28th of August, I loaded 10, and the stock is in there with the new costing, okay, and the new retail. And that is loading stock.